The Toilets of Mohenjo-Daro. Around 2500 BC, one of humanity's earliest sanitation systems emerged in the Indus Valley in modern Pakistan. In Mohenjo-Daro, many homes had private toilets made of fired bricks, whose wastewater flowed through masonry drains into a municipal sewer system with covered main channels. Around 40,000 people lived here, and almost every house was connected to the sewers, a standard European cities did not achieve until the 19th century. Who designed these facilities remains unknown because the Indus civilization's script has never been deciphered. When the civilization collapsed around 1900 BC for reasons still unclear, its sanitary knowledge also disappeared for nearly 1,000 years. The Palace of Knossos. On the Mediterranean island of Crete, the Minoans built a palace around 1700 BC that contained a technological sensation, one of history's first flushing toilets. In the Palace of Knossos, a wooden seat stood above a clay channel that was flushed with water from jugs or collected rainwater, while tapered terracotta pipes carried wastewater out of the building. This luxury was probably reserved for the ruling family, perhaps the legendary dynasty of King Minos. British archaeologist Arthur Evans began uncovering the installation in 1900 and marveled at the engineering skill of the Bronze Age. After the Minoans fell around 1450 BC, more than 3,000 years passed before Europe saw water flushing again, the public latrines of Rome. In ancient Rome, going to the toilet was a social affair. From about the 2nd century BC onward, public latrines with as many as 50 seats were built, without any partitions. Citizens sat side by side on stone benches and discussed politics and business, while flowing water beneath them washed waste into the Cloaca Maxima, the enormous sewer whose origins reach back to the 6th century BC and which remains partly operational today. For cleaning, people shared a sponge on a stick, the tersorium, which was rinsed in vinegar or salt water. By the 4th century, Rome had 144 public latrines, a sanitation system that vanished with the empire, the medieval garderobe. After Rome's fall, Europe's sanitation culture sank into darkness for centuries. From the 11th century onward, medieval castles developed the so-called privy, or garderobe, a small projecting stone chamber extending from the castle wall. Excrement fell through a shaft directly into the moat or to the base of the wall. The name garderobe arose because nobles hung their clothing there. The ammonia smell was supposed to repel moths and fleas, yet the shafts became a military weakness. In 1204, French soldiers reportedly entered the Norman fortress of Chateau Gaillard through a privy shaft. The chamber pot. For centuries, it was Europe's most important hygiene device, the chamber pot. From antiquity through the 19th century, people of every class used clay, pewter, or porcelain vessels kept beneath the bed. They were emptied into the street. In Edinburgh, passers-by were warned by the cry, "Gardez-l'eau," derived from French "gardez l'eau," meaning "watch out, water." The consequences were devastating. Contaminated streets and rivers encouraged cholera and typhus. Wealthy people owned decorated models. Traveling ladies used the oval Bordelou, and at Louis XIV's court in Versailles, nobles even received guests on the chaise percée, a chair with a built-in pot. Bodily functions were not taboo there, but daily life. Sir John Harington's Ajax. In 1596, the English courtier and poet Sir John Harington presented a revolutionary invention, the first modern flushing toilet. His Ajax had an elevated water tank, a valve, and a flush that swept waste into a pit with a surge. Harington installed one for his godmother, Queen Elizabeth I, in her palace at Richmond. Yet instead of fame, he earned ridicule. His satirical treatise about the invention, A New Discourse upon a Stale Subject, angered the court, and Harington fell from favor. Only 2 examples were ever built. The idea was simply ahead of its time because sewers and running water were lacking, and it remained forgotten for almost 180 years. Alexander Cumming and the S-Bend. In 1775, the Scottish watchmaker Alexander Cumming achieved the decisive breakthrough in London. He patented history's first flushing toilet and solved the greatest problem of every earlier design: the smell. His S-shaped drainpipe permanently retained water inside the pipe, blocking foul gases from the pit far below from rising upward. 3 years later, in 1778, inventor Joseph Bramah improved the design with a flap valve and sold thousands of examples to wealthy households over the following decades. The S-bend, now usually made as a U or P bend, still clearly appears in practically every toilet worldwide, an invention more than 250 years old that has never needed replacement. The Great Stink of London. In the summer of 1858, London neared collapse. The Thames, receiving the wastewater of 2.5 million people and countless new flushing toilets, became a reeking sewer. The smell grew so unbearable that Parliament soaked its curtains in chloride of lime and even considered relocating its sessions. In only 18 days, lawmakers approved an enormous construction project. Engineer Joseph Bazalgette built more than 2,000 kilometers of sewers and huge pumping stations by 1875. The side effect was historic. Cholera, which had killed thousands of Londoners in 1854, disappeared permanently from the city. The flushing toilet alone had worsened the crisis. Only sewerage turned it into a blessing. Thomas Crapper and the Victorian water closet. Contrary to persistent legend, Thomas Crapper did not invent the toilet, but hardly anyone did more to popularize it. Born in Yorkshire in 1836, the plumber opened his own London company in 1861 and registered 9 patents, including improvements to the float-controlled cistern that remains a worldwide standard today. Crapper dared the unthinkable. He displayed toilets openly in public shop windows, outraging Victorian ladies who supposedly fainted at the sight. His reputation brought royal commissions, including work for the Prince of Wales at Sandringham House. The Japanese washlet. In 1980, Japanese manufacturer Toto launched a toilet that transformed the bathroom into a high-tech device, the Washlet G. It combined heated seats, warm water cleansing jets, and warm air drying in one unit. Initially mocked, it became a mass phenomenon. Today, such bidet toilets stand in around 80% of Japanese households, and over 60 million units have been sold worldwide. Modern models offer odor extraction, self-cleaning, and even health analyses. Yet while the toilet became a status symbol in Japan, it remains entirely absent elsewhere. According to the United Nations, around 3.5 billion people still lack access to safe sanitation. The history of the toilet has not yet been fully written.